Introducing Meta Ray-Ban Display, the world's most advanced AI glasses. With a full color display built into the lens of the glasses, it's there when you need it and gone when you don't. Send and receive messages, translate or caption live conversations, collaborate with Meta AI, and more. Be one of the first to try Meta Ray-Ban Display. Visit meta.com/Meta Ray-Ban Display to book a demo and find your pair.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Attention Ditto Heads.
Lightning the fast lane.
Attention Bo Scouts.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
It's time for the Soul of Excellence.
He is a radio host here in New York.
The Rush Hour is on the air.
Rush.
Now here's James Golden.
Federal workers waiting in long lines at this food bank in southern Maryland.
I would have never thought in a million years that I would have been in this position to have to go to a food bank.
Denise Blake says she drove over an hour to get here. When she finally arrived, they had run out of food.
We have a cart ready for you out front.
Fortunately, she did not leave empty-handed, but she still faces the harsh reality of not knowing how she's going to feed her family while she's not getting paid during the government shutdown.
I don't want my daughter to see me crying.
Blake's story is like so many others who are waiting to get paid as Congress stalls to pass a new spending plan.
I haven't gotten a paycheck this month, so the free groceries is very important, very helpful.
More than 1 million federal workers are not receiving pay right now. Many missed their first full paycheck Friday, while others will feel the loss early next week, depending on the agency.
And that's not all the pain, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. It is the Monday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, the fastest hour in American media. That report, government workers who have missed their paychecks now, some of them on long lines waiting at food banks. Food banks are going to be highly stressed in the coming days ahead. In fact, we have more of the EBT crisis that is mounting in America. The fear is palatable and growing. Other news to discuss today, too. Governor Cuomo, ex-Governor Cuomo, former Governor Cuomo, son of Mario the Pious, Andrew Cuomo, has gained ground on Mondami. It is still, according to the latest polls, a 10-point race. There is also a major story in Fox News today. Inside the Mondami machine, Soros cash, socialist, radical imams engineered Zoran Mondami's path to power. And surprising in this article, there are about 170 different Democrat-leaning groups that work together to make this Mondami thing happen. There was a big rally over the weekend. We have AOC going nuts at it. But the other news that is really hitting today is that the Government Workers Union backs Republican plan to reopen government. This is a WSJ, Wall Street Journal editorial. There's great news today for government workers. One of their union bosses has decided to advocate for their interest. To some readers, this may not sound like news, but this column recently noted the bizarre phenomenon of the American Federation of Government Employees, an AFL-CIO union, blaming the federal shutdown on the White House, even though Republicans keep voting to pay AFGE members while Democrats keep voting not to fund the government. Rather than supporting Republicans' clean, continuing resolution to maintain government spending, Democrats have also demanded a new round of expanded Obamacare subsidies, even for wealthy households. They go on to say that since government workers already get their health care through their jobs and obviously prefer to get paid, it's clearly in their interest for both parties to back the Republican plan to fund the government and then let the politicians argue about whether to provide another bailout to Obamacare. Nearly a month into the shutdown, it appears that the American Federation of Government Employees leadership finally agrees. And this was, of course, and is big story in the political world, Washington, D.C. I have the NBC version of the story as well. Largest federal workers union calls for an end to the shutdown, putting pressure on Democrats. The country's largest union representing federal workers calling for lawmakers to pass a short-term spending measure to immediately end the shutdown. Now, many of you might say, oh my goodness, the union has turned on Democrats. This sure sounds like this government union is telling Democrats, hey, you people, we don't like what you're... My friends, there is a possibility that the union has turned on Democrats. There's also another possibility. You know what that other possibility is? I'll tell you. The other possibility is that this was coordinated. The Democrats are so afraid of their base. And Chuck U. Schumer, Hakeem Mamdani Jeffries cannot walk out in front of the cameras after all this posturing, posing, and stretching of the truth and spinning to suddenly say, we're for a clean CR. If they did it, as the article in The Hill pointed out last week, they were afraid that they would face the guillotine, the political guillotine from their base. Howsoever. What happens if Democrat allies all of a sudden, Democrats themselves, like this large government employee union, start to smooth the water for Democrats? What if there's a strategy underfoot here to give the Democrats some cover? Democrats are feeling pressure from who? Not from Republicans, but from Democrats. What if in the coming 2 or 3 days ahead, because of what's happening on the EBT front, then we have certain loud and angry Democrat groups start to say, enough already, we have to put, as they used to say back during the Clinton era, put people first. That was one of their mantras. Put people first. Put people first. What if Democrat radical groups, some of the loudmouth activists in the Democrat Party, adopt the mantra of old, put people first, and let's argue about Obamacare second? That gives the ability for some of these Democrat leaders to now go in front of the cameras in tow with some of their Democrat allies, should they choose to show up and said, you know what, we've listened to our unions. We've listened to our peoples. The peoples who are demanding that the food flow on their EBT cards, or there will be mass robberies, mass burglaries, mass lawlessness across this nation. And they are still demanding it. They're still threatening. I have been in the forefront, ladies and gentlemen, of bringing you those voices from social media on this very program for the past week and a half, close to 2 weeks. Once the word started even trickling out that EBT welfare benefits could be compromised, why all of a sudden there was awareness as to what was going on in the news, not apathy. And it is rising to a crescendo. In fact, we have reports on what's happening with that crescendo. Let's go to cut 3 very quickly, Carlos, and we have another one from PMSNBC. Here's ABC News report.
The Democrats should just do a simple extension. That's the best way. The Democrats are holding it up. They want $1.5 trillion for people that came out of prisons, for illegal aliens that come into our country. We don't want to do that because that will really hurt the health care that we have in our country. And frankly, we'd like to see better health care, period. We're not looking to do that.
So this was outside. This was President Trump. I don't know what happened to our ABC News report, because we had an ABC News report on the shutdown. We also have one from MSNBC. This one more on target, I believe.
With MSNBC's Kevin Fry on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers are facing growing calls to end the shutdown. Kevin, what's the latest?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very dramatic call from that union of federal employees representing hundreds of thousands, with a statement today saying, among other things, that it's time for our leaders to start focusing on how to solve problems for the American people rather than on who is going to get the blame for a shutdown that Americans dislike. Because when the folks who serve this country are standing in line for food banks after missing a second paycheck because of this shutdown, they aren't looking for partisan spin. They're looking for wages that they earned. They go on to essentially say that Congress needs to pass, in their view, a clean CR. Now, when Speaker Mike Johnson was asked about this today, he certainly kind of leaned into this. In fact, we saw several top Republicans on the House side take advantage of this statement and basically point to it, saying, Democrats, the ball is in your court now, whether or not you decide to act on this. Johnson saying, I certainly hope this is a turning point in the shutdown, noting that this is a union, after all, that is weighing in this sort of way, and saying that this shutdown is a charade. Now, of course, at the same time, I have, in recent weeks, spoken to Democrats representing districts with heavy populations of federal employees, and their message that they say they've been receiving from federal workers was keep up the fight, that health care is the fight worth having, that it is an important time to push back on the Trump administration. Of course, as this continues to drag out, as we see federal employees now missing paychecks, will that start to change? We shall see this week when lawmakers start to return. The Senate comes in this afternoon. They're expected at some point this week to vote again on that CR to reopen the government. And members of the House Democratic Caucus are going to be here as well, so we'll be polling them too. Chris?
All right, Kevin Fry with a busy weekend.
Yeah, we didn't even get to the EBT part, which we will get to, ladies and gentlemen. James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media continues. Whatever you do, don't go away.
Rush. This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Oh, Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy.
Download and subscribe
at BeBullish.com.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
My friends, our coverage of the upcoming EBT crisis in America continues.
Bro is waiting in the dispensary parking lot, asking people if they have any spare roaches. I don't think y'all understand. The crash out levels is about to go through the roof. No food stamps equals no to less weed money. Like, y'all about to have people out here hangry and sober. That's a diabolical combination. Because the food money got to come out of some budget, and that's the first one it usually comes from. All I'm saying is just be nicer to people in these coming days, because that blunt and those snacks may have been the only thing stopping your coworker from putting you first in line for a meet and greet with God Almighty.
Y'all better lock y'all cars at night. Lock your cars. Lock your house up. If you're one of them people that just leave your car unlocked, parked in your driveway, you better lock it. With the food stamps being gone and people not going to have people going to eat, okay? Nobody's just going to, this is 2025, nobody's just not going to eat. Food stamps, I'm telling you right now, even with the government shutdown and the food stamps and stuff being gone for next month, and it's going to affect everybody, there's about to be a lot of stuff going on, okay? I'm not even going to talk about it too much because, hey, you know what's about to happen. Lock your cars. Lock them.
Yes, I know that first one. People were puzzled. And you're like, what is he talking about? Weed? What? And then, my friends, the ugly truth reveals itself. Some of that food stamp money is going to the purchase of other types of food. And there are reactions. We don't have to. Yes, we will play all of these. But in spite of all the stuff that's going on with food stamps, there's stuff on the White House ballroom. I didn't forget Mondami. We're going to get to him. We have time for this very quickly. Cut 20, Carlos. Ballroom. Here's some of the activity on social media regarding the White House ballroom.
That man is not building a ballroom. He's building a data center so that him and all of his tech friends can aggregate all our data and use AI to make this a dystopian nightmare.
So you see, my friends, according to some members of the left, the White House ballroom is not really a ballroom. What Donald Trump is building, the attachment to the White House. By the way, I have an editorial from the Washington Post in favor of the White House ballroom. Shocking. But you see, according to some other conspiracy people, it's not a ballroom, it's a data center. It's the Orange Man's data center. Don't go away. Fastest hour in American media continues, my friends, as we barrel down toward the EBT crisis in America.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush. Y'all sitting over here joking about these assistants being cut off next month.
Me too. I'm going to continue to.
And I don't find funny about that.
Oh no, it's plenty funny about it. Number one funny thing is the fact that people have been telling y'all for years to go out and get jobs. Hey, stop having too many kids. That's a detriment to the community and to your families. Stop having kids with men who already have kids. Stop creating problems for yourself. Eventually, everyone's going to stop paying for you to freeload off of what we have. That's what people have been telling you. Now, you didn't want to listen because you didn't have a pappy in your life to tell you that, hey, you need to listen to authority sometimes. Now, that's why we are in the place we're in. Now that the free handouts might stop, now you're looking a little tight. I'm seeing a little black fatigue in you. You better fatigue your ass down to the job and fill out an application. I hope this helps. Skedaddle.
Yes, my friends, there are comments being made on both sides as the EBT crisis looms larger in America. James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media. Let's get back to it. I want to briefly get on this Mondami business. Okay, two things. I mentioned to you the Fox News. Well, first, Cuomo is a week away. Mondami still has a double-digit lead. However, Andrew Cuomo, according to the latest polls, has creeped within 10 points now. In the latest survey, Mondami has 44%, Cuomo is now at 34%. What would help Cuomo's chances is if the undecided voters unanimously said, we're for Cuomo. Come on, I'm just saying, because latest poll estimates show there are 7% of people who are still undecided. If that breaks heavily for Cuomo, if some of the people who intend to vote Republican decide at the last minute to vote for Cuomo, this is not over. And if the margin of error skews to his way, it's not over. Now, again, Fox News today, inside the Mondami machine, Soros-cast socialists and radical imams engineered Zohran Mondami's path to power. And they go through a history here that is worth noting, including some of the people, and you've already heard many of you endlessly, who his connections are, the connections that he has to radicals. Fox News does a really good job in this article of going all the way to the groups that have supported him, including groups that are affiliated with what some people think are, for instance, CARE Action, the Council on American Islamic Relations nonprofit, the Islamic Circle of North America, the Muslim Action Coalition, Yemeni American Merchants Association, Bangladeshi American Activism Group. This is Rising Up Moving. Altogether, Mondami has had a database of 110 liberal groups supporting him. The organizations have been generously funded. In total, billionaire George Soros, Open Society Philanthropies have given two of the groups that support Mondami almost $2.5 million in recent years. And they go through other donations behind Mondami. It is an extensive article. You can find it at Fox Digital. It will give you a glance of how deeply and detail-oriented this group is and who they are, these groups that have brought this Mondami to within days, unless voters say otherwise, of becoming the next mayor of New York. There's an article in the little read by most people website. I read the stuff because I'm interested in trade, called governing.com. Governing. Yes, governing. It's a website for people who govern other people in government. And it is a lengthy argument, it is a lengthy piece, the never-ending war over rent control, and they examine what could take place under Mondami with American rent control. The conclusions, it's a very lengthy article, but I'll just jump to the almost the concluding page of it. And it goes, by the way, through Milton Friedman's arguments against rent control. It's very, very... And in conclusion of the article, and that's what we all want to get to, the conclusion, what's the point of it? It says, Zohran Mondami clearly has a case. Rents in New York's non-controlled apartments have been going up by nearly 6% a year, enough to frighten tenants and create a powerful political issue. Keeping that number down through stabilization makes a reasonable amount of sense. But in going for a flat 4-year moratorium on rent increases, they say that Mondami is proposing to use a meat cleaver, a meat axe, rather than a precision tool. And meat axes don't usually work very well in public policy. And from all available evidence, they say his approach to rent stabilization is not going to work either. But that is not stopping him from still campaigning for things like freezing the rent for 4 years, which makes absolutely no sense. It is a blatant attack on landlords. And all it's doing, by the way, if you freeze rents for 4 years in New York, what do you think is going to happen during the 5th year? What do you think happens if you have successfully frozen rents for 4 years and suffered landlords, those that are left, to eat the cost of the ever-rising cost of maintaining and running buildings? What do you think is going to happen as soon as those controls are off? All he's doing is kicking the can down the road for somebody else to deal with, because there will be massive, massive price hikes that will force people out of their apartments. But cut 13, this is Mandami. And this is him telling you exactly what he wants to do.
Here is what we stand for, my friends. We are going to freeze the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants and use every resource at our disposal to build housing for everyone who needs it. We are going to eliminate the fare on every single bus line and make what are currently the slowest buses in the nation move around this city with ease. And we are going to create universal child care at no cost to parents, so New Yorkers can raise their family in the city they love. Together, New York, we're going to freeze the... Together, New York, we're going to make buses fast and... Together, New York, we're going to deliver universal... We will make our city one where every person who calls it home can live a dignified life.
Yeah, right. Let me ask you a question. The same people that have been running New York education and running it into the ground, where you have huge numbers of American children that come out of New York City schools that can't read, can't write, can't function with government schools. Now you want to start it at daycare and put these people that can't run a school system? And what do they run efficiently and right? Now you want to put these same politicians in charge of your kid, and they say it's going to be free? Parents just drop off your thousands and thousands and thousands of kids, just drop them here at your government free daycare. Who's paying for it? And these are the people that can't even run education, and they want your kids now in daycare. AOC was having a cow. You should have saw hopping up and down like a little bunny rabbit or something at this big rally they had out in Queens. Cut 12, AOC yammering on about this.
This city was built by the Irish escaping famine, Italians fleeing fascism, Jews escaping Holocaust, Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow, Latinos seeking a better life, Native people standing for themselves, Asian Americans coming together in Queens, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, in Manhattan, in Staten Island, in this country, in a vision to build the freest, toughest, and greatest city on earth.
In Manhattan. She left out a few groups, but I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, that was the big rally. Free stuff, and then let's do the coalition name-calling. This city was built by... Yeah, the city was... She left out a few groups, too, that had contributions toward building New York City. And I wish you would do this. This city is run by corrupt Democrats ever since Tammany Hall. But we could get into all of that if we want to. Gavin Newsom is also out. Cut 8. Gavin Newsom, excuse me, just one moment. This is ghetto-gasm. Gasm is trying to connect with a different sort of Democrat. Here's Gavin Ghetto Newsom.
But also, it was also about paying the bills, man. And it was just like hustling. And so I was out there kind of raising myself, turning on the TV, started, just getting obsessed, sitting there with the Wonder Bread and 5 stacks of,
it's like the White Stack 5 story.
Come on. Macaroni and cheese.
Bro. Are you talking about me?
Young YG.
YG,
but
man.
Every day in the backyard, just bouncing the basketball, throwing the ball against the wall until the ball is just like fraying, man. And your arms fall yourself. That's it.
That's Gavin Newsom. Man. Like I was like eating Wonder Bread, like, mac and cheese, like throwing my b-ball against the wall until it frayed, yo. I'm Gavin Newsom. Yo, I want to be president, yo. So let me hang out and prove I got some Gavin Newsom was born to upper crust folks in a very exclusive part of California. He didn't raise himself eating. Come on, Gavin. Are you kidding me? Okay, we have redistricting stuff that we can't get to today. We have more. Oh, Brandon Johnson. Folks, I'm sorry. We're so scattered. I wanted to get to everything. Can't do it. Well, just doing scattershot now. I'm getting to as much as I can. Brandon Johnson, someone dared use 2 words that he cannot tolerate. Illegal aliens. This was Gavin Newsom. Wrong one. This was Brandon Johnson's reaction when a reporter brought up something and used the words illegal immigrant.
We don't have illegal aliens.
Illegal alien.
Yeah. I don't know if that's from some sort of sci-fi message that you wish you had. Well, listen, the legal term for my people were slaves. You want me to use that term too? So look, let's just get the language right. We're talking about undocumented individuals that are human beings. The last thing that I'm going to do is accept the type of racist, nasty language to describe human beings.
So illegal alien, which by the way is a legal term and has been for decades, is now a nasty racist term. And Mr. Who cares how many people get murdered in Chicago wants to be the chief of speech now. The chief of speech police. James Golden's 30 fastest hour in American media continues.
Rush. This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Oh, Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
Rush.
Now, here's James Golden.
Learn something new every day. Sir Bruce, who is the husband of Lady Benedict, informs all of us that originally the midnight train to Georgia was the midnight plane to Houston, written for Farrah Fawcett, and apparently ended up in the Motown roster with Gladys Knight and as a train and going to Georgia. Four Tops bring us back. Number 1, 1966 on this day with this one, their big hit. And Motown, speaking of that, Suzanne DePass, so instrumental in Motown. She's the one she is the person that discovered the Jacksons, all of them, and brought them into Motown. She discovered Lionel Richie and the Commodores, discovered DeBarge, so many others, produced Lonesome Dove, the Motown 25 show, Showtime at the Apollo, co-wrote Lady Singers the Blues. Suzanne inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last year. Suzanne and her partner, Madison Jones, who is nothing short of an amazing creative genius, the world will know his name, secured a huge deal. It was reported in Hollywood Reporter today. $1 billion in financing for a new studio, a bright light in a dismal year for Hollywood. This new studio, Immortal Studio. And I want to be one of the first to wish them the very best. These are amazing people, and this is a historic announcement. Along with their partner, Corey Martin, and, of course, another Youngbin Wang. I'll have more on this on the weekends, but congratulations to all of them. Immortal Studios underway. We got to go, folks. May God bless. Protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. Love and gratitude for your being here with me and allowing me to be with you. God bless, my friends. And God willing, we are here tomorrow. Until then, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?